Hello and welcome to Chaos Gate Demon Hunters. I'm Shadowcoast and welcome to the channel. In this episode, we are going to review the Interceptor abilities, and I'll provide my thoughts on how to build your Interceptors to ensure that you maximize your damage and are able to progress through the game, since this is a very difficult game. So off the bat, the Interceptors' melee attacks cannot be parried, and they gain +1 ammo for their equipped range weapons. Let's review the core disciplines. We can upgrade Force Strike for +1 damage, and then we have Willpower twice, so we can upgrade Willpower to +4 within the immediate tree. That is something that we will most likely get longer term, because we're going to be using a lot of Willpower, which you'll see a little later on in this video. And then we can also upgrade the Psybolt for +1 damage. So we're going to go over to the right first, and then we'll kind of go up and down, and then the left. So looking out here, we can gain Hammerhead, the Hammerhead discipline. So this increases the melee attack strike. Adjacent target deals 4 damage, 100% crit. It does use 2 willpower, but this is a very nice move if you want to trigger that crit. We can then also upgrade willpower. We'll be using a lot of it, so we're going to want to pick these up as we go. We can gain a +1 crit damage, and then down here, activate to give this ability the bleed effect for 2 turns, so an extra 2 damage per turn. So definitely for some tankier, bigger enemies, we're going to want to have something like that. Moving up, melee discipline. I always believe that you should have your characters focus or obtain some melee discipline. The key caveat, though, is that building out melee discipline is secondary for the Interceptor. So I recommend trying to immediately go into this branch after we prioritize our core branch, which happens to sit on the left. So we'll review that in a minute. Melee discipline, effectively, we can gain Ruthless Precision, 50% chance to gain +1 AP. That's absolutely critical as an auto. This Knight melee attack gain +5% crit. The Knight's melee attack gains +2 crit. The Knight's melee attack gains +10% crit. So realistically, what we would do is we would beeline it over here to pick up Ruthless Precision as an auto ability later on in the game. So once we have a very fully, heavily developed Interceptor. If we come down here, we have the Cleansing Strike discipline. So Cleansing Strike and adjacent target deal 4 damage, purge 100%, no stun. When afflicted, so then if we go over here, Warp Charge, we can activate this attack for armor, pierce, and purge. We can then also enhance this to deal +2 damage, and then we gain a passive ability of +4 HP. I do not recommend going Cleansing Strike discipline. I just feel like it's vastly inferior for the Interceptor from that perspective. So let's go down here, Aegis Shield Discipline. We can gain a War Gear slot. This is nice. And then you can see here, we gain a lot of armor. You could build this out. It is helpful, but I don't necessarily recommend trying to focus on a lot of armor. Your Interceptor isn't or shouldn't be tanking. There are lots of reasons for this, one of which being that I just feel like it's not as optimized, although given your playstyle, if you are going to leave them isolated out there, there is an argument to be made, because if you miscalculate, having this armor could be the difference between life and death. I just personally tend to have this as like the tertiary stat. So if you can fill out your core tree, you can get your Ruthless Precision, and you don't have anything else to put, then think about armor. Moving up to the Psychic Suppression discipline, a psychic attack, choose a target at range up to range 10 to afflict silence. Here the affliction lasts +1 turn. The Knight can now use silencer range weapons, and then the affliction lasts for +1 turn. So this is a nice ability if we're trying to lock down an enemy. I have found that I didn't really need it, but I have not completed a full campaign, so maybe I'm missing something later on. But I would say for 8.5 to 10 hours in on a campaign or normal difficulty, I find that I can really kill targets and don't have a pressing need to silence them. So this brings us to the teleport discipline. The left side of the tree is where I recommend prioritizing first. So teleport discipline will pick up teleport to a destination within range 15. Immune to autos, that's good to know. I do recommend picking up this. This ability gains +5 range. This is probably the first 2 points you want to go to is to extend the range. We can then gain +2 willpower, which is nice. You can see here it does take 1 willpower to teleport. And then swap allies. You can choose to swap this knight's current position with another knight within range of this ability. I actually do recommend getting this ability, mainly because you will make mistakes, and if your knight's about to go down, especially a second time, this is a good way to save them. Going down, support fire discipline. I really recommend getting supporting fire. So you can see here, this is very early game. This is kind of a secondary playthrough. I picked this up pretty early. I do recommend getting support fire for as many of your Space Marines as possible. It makes a big difference because you can output extra damage. When an enemy is shot within the knight's weapon range, he will also shoot to deal +2 damage to the target. Cannot trigger with Overwatch. You basically get kind of a free mini Overwatch, although you do take, or your unit that's attacked will take some damage. From here, you can upgrade this auto for +1 damage, +2 damage, and then the passive, the knight gains +1 use turn of their auto and silence abilities. After the tree up here, teleport strike discipline, I recommend filling this out. So I just wanted to pick it up so I had it early game, and this is where you should prioritize all of your interceptors. Every single one I recommend getting teleport strike. So you gain teleport attack, selecting any number of targets with a valid destination within range 15, and then it can be extended, right, because we have our extension here. To teleport, deal 4 damage to all targets. All targets. Which is pretty cool. Activate to add +2. Where is it? Activate to add +2 damage to each target of this attack, which is huge. That's 6 damage. This ability deals +1 damage, and then teleport boost auto. When this knight uses teleport ability, they have a 50% chance to gain +1 AP. So you can teleport in there, hit multiple targets, and then on top of that, gain an action point. There is no reason that I can think of why you wouldn't prioritize this tree and prioritize it early. I on this one, tinkering around, I got the extension and I wanted the support fire auto, but after that, I'm putting all my points into teleport strike discipline. After I have teleport strike discipline, I probably will pick up a few willpower just to make sure that I can teleport strike more often. This thing is very expensive, 3 willpower, so that's why I was mentioning that we will need additional willpower to make us more effective. So definitely picking up the willpower as we go. After this tree, I recommend getting support fire. I think it's fantastic. After that, I would move up to melee discipline, and then finally I'd prioritize armor towards the end. So those are the abilities for interceptors. These are some of the best characters in the game, in my opinion. At least at a minimum, in my opinion, the most fun. Let me know if you found this video helpful by dropping a thumbs up. And please comment, did I miss anything? Do you have a better build? I'd like to know. Thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you in future videos. Shadow Coast, out.